Hi everyone, it's Vopni, the fitness doula, and I'm going to go through a couple of different ways you can use the ball to prepare for labor and delivery, and also how you can use it in your labor, especially if you have stalled labor. That's a term that gets thrown around a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the ball to help us get into some stretches that will release tension and stretch the areas around our pelvis so that we can keep that space free of tension and able to be open and ready for the babe to move into and then eventually down and out of the pelvis. So this ball is actually a little bit smaller than what I would use for my own body. I like one that has me at 90 or even a slightly bit higher. I'm kind of like maybe just below 90 degrees in terms of my legs here. So typically I would use a bit bigger ball for myself, but it's all I have here, so I will use it. So the first one we want to do is it's like an inner thigh stretch essentially, and you keep your butt cheeks on the ball, and you extend one leg out to the side and you keep your other leg bent and supported. And all you do is essentially you're just stretching out that inner thigh. It attaches up into our pelvis as well. And when you're in the stretch, you can also use the ball for some movement that can help release tension in different planes as well. So you can also give yourself a little bit of a rocking back and forth movement. So in labor, if you happen to, you can use this in labor if everything's going well, but if you potentially may be in a different position and you hear the word stalled labor or you're not progressing, try some movements where you have some asymmetry like this in your pelvis and keep moving. You're also upright, which helps with gravity, because sometimes the babies can reach a point in the pelvis, so maybe there's some imbalance in your pelvis where there's more tension maybe on one side, or maybe there's some rotation or torsion in the pelvis and their head maybe gets kind of stuck on it. If we can work with them during labor to keep that space mobile and fluid and free of tension, sometimes it's just that extra little nudge that they need to then start moving down again. So this is a great way to help stalled labor. But it's an exercise you can do during your pregnancy to help keep that area free. Okay, so then you would switch over to the other side. Nice big long reach with that leg. And then you can either hold it stationary or you can rock back and forth. And if you are feeling like you don't have enough balance or you feel a little bit unstable in your pregnancy, simply take the ball up to a wall or wedge it into a corner, and then you can even hang on to the wall as well. So that takes some of the movement out of the ball, not totally, but it makes it a little bit more stable for you if you're feeling a little bit unsteady with the shifting center of gravity that you have. So that's one, so that's kind of an inner thigh stretch. And again, you can use that during your labor, you do it in preparation for as well. The other one is kind of like the runner's lunge, and what you do is you shift so that now my right butt cheek is on the ball and my left is off the ball. My front leg is going to stay vertical, and now I want to find that plane where my ASIS and my pubic symphysis are in a vertical plane, and then I just hold that stretch here. And again, this is actually like a working stretch, so I'm actually getting some work because I'm holding myself here, but I'm also getting some tensile load and some length there as well. Again, if you need to, wedge this into a corner or place it up against the wall. And if you want, you can also start to hinge a little bit more at the spine and straighten that leg out. You still get some nice length here, and you also start to get a little bit of length in the abdomen. Now, as the pregnancy progresses, we have a lot of load and strain already being placed on the linea alba. So we don't want to go overboard and really extend, but we do want to keep that area supple and able to move. So a little bit of length can be helpful. You can also reach an arm over and get some length in the side or back, and then you would switch over to the other side. And one other point I wanted to make as well is during labor, you may not, we can't necessarily have perfect form while we're going through contractions. So your birth partner, it may be a doula even, could stand in front of you and you could hang on top of them while you do the movements with your legs or with your pelvis. they could also stand behind you and bring their arms underneath yours so you could kind of hang on them as well. So that takes a little bit of the work away because you're already doing a lot of work, let's face it. So use your partner or your doula. You could also bring this up. If you had a wall in front of you, you could lean on that wall as well and be shifting your legs back and forth or rolling around on the ball as well. So I hope you found that helpful. It's a great way to prepare for labor and delivery, and also a great tool to use in your labor. Regardless of whether you are stalled or not, this is a way that you could prevent becoming stalled. But if you hear that word, failure to progress, stalled labor, get up in whatever position you're in, grab a ball, start moving your pelvis, stay upright, and try to get those asymmetrical movements going to help shift the babe down and out. I hope you found that helpful. Thanks.